Hey everybody, I'm Bill Vencil. This is Chords of Orion. It's all about ambient guitar, and yes, I've got the new edition of the Strymon Deco tape saturation and double tracker pedal. Super, super cool. And what it does is it seeks to emulate the idea of ADT, or automated double tracking. And you might be thinking, Bill, what is ADT? Well, it's a technique that was popularized in the 1960s, in particular by the Beatles. I don't think it was invented by the Beatles, but they certainly helped popularize it, where two reel-to-reel tape deck machines were used to automatically double track a guitar or perhaps another instrument. In particular, John Lennon didn't like his voice on its own, so he asked George Martin for a way to double track the voice without him having to go back and just overdub, multiple tracks. So that's what the Deco is all about. Let's check it out. As you can see, it's got the usual inputs and outputs. It's got stereo ins and outs. It also has a full MIDI implementation. So if you want to control this pedal with a MIDI controller, you can do it. It also has an expression pedal capability. And what you'll see on top of the pedal are two different sections. On the left-hand side is the tape saturation section, and the right-hand side is the double tracker. All right, so here is my dry, unaffected tone. And we're going to add some Deco to it. All right, let's explore the tape saturation first. So again, that's on the left-hand side. There are two voices in this new edition of the Deco. There's the classic voice and a cassette voice. So I've got it set to the classic voice, and let me go ahead and engage the tape saturation. As you can hear with the saturation even all the way down, it adds a certain richness to the tone. Yeah, let me go ahead and bring the saturation up. Bring it up about halfway. Here we go. Here's the dry again. Once you get the saturation dialed in to taste, this is possibly one of those always-on pedals. One of the other things that's really nice is the tone knob. This is on the second edition of the Deco, which allows you to control the brightness of the saturated tone. Let me go ahead and bring the saturation up more, and let's see what we get. Yes. Now, if you are familiar with reel-to-reel tape deck saturation, the Deco does an excellent job of emulating that soft, squishy, slightly compressed distortion that occurs when you overdrive a reel-to-reel tape deck. And I know this from experience. I currently own 3 reel-to-reel tape decks, and it's really cool just to kind of crank up the saturation. You see the meters hitting the +3 and above, and you start getting this lovely, lovely squishy distortion. Let's bring it up more. Yeah, that is really nice. What I want to do now is explore the cassette voicing. So I'll bring that saturation all the way down. Here we are. A little bit bigger of a bottom end, and it's a little squishier. Which makes sense. Again, if you've got a cassette deck, one of the old school cassette decks, I've got a couple still hanging around the house. They don't have as much headroom as a 15 inches per second reel-to-reel tape deck. So they tend to saturate a little bit faster, and they don't have as much dynamic range. Let me go ahead and bring up the saturation with the cassette voicing. You can really hear how everything is a little more compressed with the cassette voicing. Yeah, this is really cool. Now, what if we combined the tape saturation with an overdrive pedal? I've got a Strymon Riverside on the floor. Let me go ahead and engage that, and let's see what we get. Let me turn off the tape saturation. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. Oh, that sounds better. All right, let's check out the double tracking section of the pedal. Now, as we think about double tracking, we got to remember this is emulating two different reel-to-reel tape decks. So we've got our left hand, your right tape deck, and right tape deck. And what's going to happen is virtually we're going to feed our dry signal into the one deck, and then the other deck is going to feed that signal to the second deck, and there's going to be a lag between the two decks. One deck is going to lag behind the other one. And one of the cool things about this pedal is that we've got a lot of flexibility over that lag time, much more so than I could get with my old school reel-to-reel tape decks. I could get lag, but it was difficult to kind of dial in exactly how much lag, but we've got all control with this pedal. So I've got the type set to sum, so we'll check that out first. That basically is going to sum our two virtual tape decks together, and I'm going to pull the lag time all the way down to the minimum, and I think it's like, gosh, it's a fraction of a second lag time. And I've got a blend knob, so I'm going to leave that in the middle, and let's see what we get here with double tracking. Yeah, we don't hear a whole lot because everything is very, very close to real time. There might be a little bit of phase cancellation going on, but that's it. Let me bring the blend knob all the way up so we're only hearing our two virtual tape decks. All right, cool. It sounds good. I mean, that's a tape deck kind of sound, but we need to increase the lag time. And as we increase the lag time in that 9 o'clock to noon kind of range, we're going to get into a lag time that will start creating flanging effects. So let's see what this sounds like. Pretty subtle, isn't it? But you're getting a little more, stuff going on. Let's go ahead and increase it up to about 11 o'clock. Oh, now we're really hearing the flanging. Yeah, cool. Now, as we go from about noonish or so to about 1:30 to 2 o'clock, we're going to get into some chorusing types of sounds. Yeah, very subtle, isn't it? But it sounds great. Let's move up a little bit further, and now we're going to get into some slapback sounds. Yeah, and if we move the lag time all the way up, we get a short delay. So far sounding great, but I feel like I want more movement to the sound between the two tape decks. Well, we've got a knob called a wobble, and this interjects some simulated tape wobble between the two. Oh yeah, there we go. If we go all the way up, we get a lot of wobble. All right, let's try the second type on that little three-way switch. This is invert. And basically, it's going to invert the phase of the lag deck, the tape deck number 2. Let's move to the flanging setting and hear what we get. We have one more type. For those of you who run stereo like I do, that last type is called bounce. And basically it's going to ping pong the signal back and forth between right and left. So let's check that out without any wobble and a flange type sound. Here we go. Let's do a little slapback with a stereo. And that little short delay. Oh, you want to hear some wobble on the stereo? Yeah, let's do that. Little chorus sound. Little flange. Oh yeah, that is really cool. Now, what I want to do is throw that distortion back on the Strymon Riverside, and let's get a little dirty thing going here. Here we go. Yeah. Now, what if we combine that with a standard delay? 1, 2, 1, 2, a little dotted eighth kind of thing going. Can you hear the possibilities? All right, you're thinking, Bill, you just cheated. You used a distortion and another delay pedal. Well, let's get that delay and distortion from just the Deco. I've got saturation picked up a little bit. I've got the lag time pretty long, and let's do some dotted eighth kind of things. Here we go. So there you go, a look at the Strymon Deco version 2. Now, what if you, like me, have version 1? Well, that is an amazingly awesome pedal. It may not be worth getting version 2, or maybe sell version 1 and then, get version 2 with the proceeds. But I gotta say, that cassette voicing slaps. That thing rocks. It is really, really cool. In addition, the MIDI capability is a big plus for version 2 if you're integrating this pedal into a larger pedal board. So what do you think? Drop a comment below and let me know. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it might find a use on your pedal board? Yeah. I've got the original demo here along with some other Strymon pedals. Check it out, and I'll catch all of you on the next video.